What is going on, guys? NeBo back again. Hopefully you guys are doing good, and I guess it's my time to do an About Me video, considering Crashy and Scrubby have also done their About Me videos already. You got to learn about their backstory and how they got into gaming itself, so I guess it's my time to talk about me, how I got into gaming, how I actually got into the gaming industry, and also how I got to, where we are right now with BWICoach Intel. So if we're gonna talk about me actually getting into gaming, I have to go all the way back to my childhood and me actually finding my first console in my parents' closet, and it was the Nintendo NES. And if you guys don't know what the Nintendo NES is, I guess I'm pretty old. You're gonna have to look that up yourself. I might put up a picture of it on screen, but other than that, I ended up playing the NES, and that's how it got hooked on gaming itself. So the Nintendo NES had 2 games, but it was like one in the actual cartridge. So it was Mario Bros, like the original Mario Bros, all pixelated and everything like that, and it was half of another game, and it was called Duck Hunt. And the actual NES had a light gun that came with it, and you could shoot the ducks on screen, and it was actually pretty cool. I enjoyed it a lot, and I played a bunch of other Nintendo games back in the day. Also, my neighbor at the time had a Sega, so every time we wanted to play Sonic or Mortal Kombat, I'd go over to his house, and every time we wanted to play Nintendo or Mario, he would come over to mine, and it was back and forth, and it was actually a pretty cool childhood to have, playing these games at an early age, especially at the prime of Nintendo and Sega. Now, with that all out of the way, I'm gonna skip ahead a couple of years to the original Xbox. I don't want to talk too much about the original Xbox. I want to get more into the Xbox 360 and the competitive scene, but the actual original Xbox, for me anyways, I ended up playing a first-person shooter called Halo, and it was Halo Combat Evolved, and I've played other first-person shooters like GoldenEye and all that on the Nintendo 64, and a bunch of other Call of Duties, but it was all single-player. So at this point, I never actually played an online game. So we had Halo Combat Evolved, the first online game that I've actually played, and I didn't play it at my house. I ended up playing it at my cousin's house, and he actually introduced me to this online concept, and I was blown away. Like, my mind blew up, figuring out what was going on. You can actually play online and talk to other people around the world while you're just sitting on your couch. This is amazing. So this was the height of, online gaming, and it was amazing. All right, so let's fast forward a little bit to the Xbox 360 and a game called Halo 3, predecessor of 1 and 2, comes out. Crazy competitive scene going on right now in MLG. I wanted to get into it. I played a lot of Halo 1, Halo 2, and 3, and 3 was my, pinnacle moment, and I played the hell out of that game. I played a lot of competitive matches and all that, but it wasn't for any prizes until I found a site called Game Battles. And Game Battles itself was an amazing platform where you can come together with, yourself in a 1v1 situation against other people, or actually go into a team fight against other teams to, climb up your ranking in the ladders. And if you ended up getting, I think it was like 1 to, I don't know, like the top 100 or 1% or something like that. I don't really remember, guys. It was a long time ago, but you could end up going to these tournaments and actually winning money, because you can put bids down against your teams, and sometimes these players, they would actually get pulled up by MLG to play. And for me, I was all in it. I loved it. I loved everything about Game Battles and the competitive scene. Only to my surprise, I couldn't actually participate in any of these competitive matches when we did the tournaments, because I'm from Canada. And it was so weird to, see that, you're playing online with these people, you're talking to them, but when it came to an actual tournament, you couldn't actually play because you're from a different country. If you wanted to go like local lands and all that, there wasn't that much stuff for Canadian kids. So for me, I ended up falling out of the competitive scene because I was all crushed that I couldn't, chase my dream of being, this competitor in the MLG. A couple months later, and after my buddies asked me to get this game and play with them, it was called Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. And I didn't really like it at first because I was so into Halo. I felt the way Halo was played out was, a lot different than Call of Duty and vice versa. And I didn't really like it at first, but after playing it, grinding it out, I ended up getting really good, and I started climbing the ladder yet again in the competitive scene for Call of Duty on game battles. And I seen that like a lot of these teams on MLG were climbing up, they were making names for themselves, they had all these sponsors, and I wanted to do that yet again. So I found my passion for the competitive scene yet again in Call of Duty. And it wasn't until Call of Duty Black Ops that I ended up, this is the original Black Ops, that I ended up actually getting into scrimmages against pro teams. I was on a small team, and the team was like no-name team, but yet again, we were still playing at that competitive level, and I would play against Optic, I would play against Obey, Envy, you name it, I was playing against those guys. And honestly, I wish I continued to stick around in the Call of Duty scene. All this, fun and games doesn't actually pay the bills, so I had to go to school and actually get an education and a better job for myself. So I put all that on hold to actually, get a career. And to my surprise, actually going to school and trying to get a career in what I wanted to do, and it was actually becoming a mechanic, which I don't know why I ever actually wanted to do that. But anyways, kind of threw me back from the actual competitive scene, because I never actually had enough time to, play Call of Duty, practice, and actually scrim against these guys. And by the time I got back, I was actually so bad that I wasn't even, good enough for these guys anymore. So I basically dropped everything for Call of Duty, and I kept on playing casually for the rest of my time, on Xbox and all that. But at the same time, I had a buddy, and I actually met him on Call of Duty 4. His name was XL Force, and he actually got me into YouTube. He was a really good editor and quickscoper in Call of Duty, and he was actually pretty high up there on the Call of Duty scene. Like, we would actually go into games, get challenged by people. We even taken on guys like Zerka and like other guys from Optic, and he would quickscope them and actually dominate them. But like everybody like me, I had to go to school, he had to do his own thing, and everybody had to quit. But at the same time, his editing, it was amazing, and he ended up getting me into YouTube, and like his stuff went on Machinima and all that. And I honestly thank him so much for inspiring me to get into this whole YouTube life that I'm in now. And I love every aspect of YouTube. I love creating, I love editing and recording, and I love uploading for you guys. You the subs, come back every day, every week. As long as you guys are happy, I'm happy, and I love the interaction with you guys. With all that being said, going into 2010, me still not having a career and working at a crappy job in the airport for UPS, and it wasn't that crappy, it was just really boring. There was nothing to it. You go to work, you do your thing, you unload planes, you load planes and trucks, and that's it. You punch out and you do the same thing again. And there was nothing to it, you know what I mean? There was no, it's not a career. That's just my thing, my thinking of it. It's not a career. So when I went back home, I ended up checking out my older stuff when I was a kid, seeing where I wanted to go, and how am I ended up right now at UPS. So I flipped through a couple of pages that I had, in this scrapbook that my mom put away, and there was an actual, list of stuff, in grade 8 that I had, saying, what were you gonna do in 5 years, and this and this and that, and where you gonna live, and on my sheet it said future career, and I put down game designer. And I read this and thought to myself, yeah, why not? Why not be a game designer? I love games, I'm all in it. Why not make the games for the people? So here we are to today, and 5 years have passed, and I've actually, stayed in the game industry for this long, and I'm actually a game designer. I have either freelanced for games and or, worked with indie studios and even studios that you guys would know, like Ubisoft and also Capcom. And if I had to choose between, staying in the game industry and or, doing YouTube, I would honestly leave everything for YouTube, because I love the interaction with with you guys, and I love editing videos and how fun it is, and meeting all these people, especially Crashy. He ended up actually messaging me on Twitter, and you know, like I said, I've been on YouTube for over 4 years, and it never actually goes the way you want it to go when you're collabing or making a second channel. Sometimes, you know, people, you know, their mindset isn't always there, and you know, after I met Crashy, this guy is, you know, full-fledged into, you know, YouTube and ready to go with this channel. And if you can see what we've got so far, you know, we've got over 600 subscribers, and I'm honestly mind blown because, you know, the channel literally started like a couple months ago, guys. It was either me or Crashy uploading for the time being, and now we have Scrubby on board with us. So all three of us are now, you know, content creators on this channel, and you know, we're gonna try to give you guys the best content we can possibly put out. I think I'm gonna end it off here, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy my About Me video. I'm gonna leave a link down below in the description for my main channel if you guys want to come over to my main channel and say what's up. That'd be awesome. And hopefully you guys love the content that we've been putting out. If you do, make sure you drop a like and slap that subscribe button. I'm NeBo. Till next time, guys. See ya.